So I have a new bag. What does it look like? Do you think, oh my God, she bought the Coach Brooklyn in suede in the Merlot color? Did I? Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Tanya and forgive my raspy voice. I think I'm just starting, at the beginning of an onset of a cold, but anyway, we shall persist. This video, I think, will be interesting only because as much as this topic is not necessarily new by any means, and certainly all companies have been duping high-end products, bags, clothing, accessories, anything for, since the beginning of time, and copying other people's ideas, right? Sometimes words fail me. Anyway, I started to notice just recently at Target that they have certain bags in their existing current season which are very reminiscent of others. Now, Kmart's been doing it for a long time. Places like TK Maxx, they have and sell brands that also dupe other brands and so on. And Target now and then has sort of had a bag that is somewhat inspired. But this season in particular, and here in Australia, we're probably looking at that sort of autumn-winter season. The colours, of course, are very autumnal and certainly very wintry, but some of the styles scream another designer. So I bought one just purely to sort of get an idea of its quality. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. But I didn't buy a whole lot of others. What I'm going to do instead is have them here sort of scrolling through as secondary footage. And you can tell me what you think. Now, is this necessarily a good thing? I'll talk about that towards the end of the video. I'm very curious to hear what you have to say and what your thoughts are on this. And then we can have a bit of a chat. There's nothing wrong per se, but at the same time, I always wonder, right? I always wonder, how far can companies go before it becomes a situation of, stealing of intellectual property, of intellectual design property, so to speak. So, is this an example of retailers like Kmart, Target? In Australia, we have Best and Less and Big W, and they do pretty much the same thing. But is this an example of them trying to up their game? Maybe. And look, that in itself, in trying to improve oneself, is not necessarily a bad thing. But I just wonder at what cost. So I was at Target, went in because I needed to look for something specific, and walked past the handbag section, and this is what I saw. I was actually with someone who pointed this out and who had purchased it in a different color to me. But I thought to myself, wow, this looks just like the Coach Brooklyn 39, I would guess. I'd hazard a guess that this is the 39 size, not the 28, because I've tried on the 28, and this is definitely larger. And I can't remember if there's a larger size in the 39, but this does look like that. So what we have here is very much a hobo style. It says that it is genuine suede leather. So you got your little hang tag with that on it. And this is a Target bag, and I paid $80 for this. And just handle with care, color transfer may occur. So obviously color from this may transfer onto clothing. So it says it even came with a dust bag. I think the dust bag impressed me more than anything else. So here we have the dust bag, and it's just got Target Woman on it. And look, I can't criticize this too much. It's a drawstring with ribbon. Okay, that's fine. I mean, how often do you use a dust bag, really? Here's all the tissue paper stuff, so I'll just get rid of that. But it's probably a slightly thicker version of the Coach satin dust bag, which I find them to be completely useless. In fact, over in the States, you could buy those beautiful calico, thick cotton type dust bags from the outlet. You can buy them separately. We can't do that here. So yeah, I want to buy a few of those. I'm going to have to reach out to my friend and ask her to do that when she's less busy. But here we have this large dust bag. It's very generous. I can't lie. It's decent, but you might notice something. Here you'll see all these specks, and that is sort of like residue from the suede itself. So this is what the bag looks like with nothing. Oh no, there's still stuffing. Let me take it out. Certainly came stuffed, that's for sure. Yes. So this is what the bag looks like with nothing in it. And I'll pop my things in it also to show you what it looks like and then talk about some of the other designs. But it has these two little gold details across the top, which are magnetized. So we have, and clearly it's a very floppy bag. So we have the two magnets there like that. So you've got this pretty little gold design just there, which looks quite nice. Let's pop this all inside because we don't need that right now. So it's just got the one handle. It's very much a raw finish inside. So if you're wearing a light color, let's say you have on a light colored skirt, light colored pants, light colored top, this potentially could leave some color transfer onto the top and certainly against the body. So this is what it looks like unstuffed against my body. It's nice. It's like, it's pardon my big arms. It's nice against the body and it feels comfortable. Now it does have this same color, so it's all monochrome in color. I'm going to guess this is leather. I'm not sure. It doesn't smell like anything, so I can't tell you specifically if it's leather, but it's got this really nice sort of base, which is, it's soft, but depending on what you put in there, can be a little bit sort of structural, can sort of keep some structure of the bag. Now, the inside of the bag is just one great big space. Let's try and do this. That's it. Like that. You can't see much, but it does have one side pocket, which is partially stitched in, and it says suede leather here. So this pocket, actually, you know what? I'll try and turn it inside out. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, it's inside out. This will make more sense rather than me trying to show you a dark hole. So we have the pocket, which is partially stitched in just in the corners on the inside. Has gold tone hardware, has a nice little zip. The zip, yeah, standard zip, nothing to write home about. Inside is continued in that suede, both sides of the inside of the zip, the zippered pocket I mean. Like I said, you've got this little extra strip that says suede leather. You can see the stitching detail, so it's not lined, but I mean, it's finished in, you know, with some workmanship, but then I'm not very familiar with sewing techniques. I should probably check with my daughter. You know, it's not just sewn, it does have this little sort of reinforcement sort of fabric alongside it. What's that called? Like an interfacing along the stitch lines. And of course the stitch lines are visible on the outside too. The base of the inside of the bag is just a continuation of that suede. I have a feeling that this is the same, just the same piece of suede both sides. It doesn't seem to be like an extra layer added on. It's just that one side has been finished differently from the other. I don't know if this is bonded. You know how some of the cheaper leather pieces tend to be constructed with bonded leather, which is all bits and pieces of leather that have been sort of like mashed and glued together, so to speak. This little label here says suede leather exclusive of trims. You might probably can't see that, but anyway, so obviously this part here, this little interfacing, is not leather, and most likely if this is a trim, then that's probably not leather. So look, all in all, it's a nice looking bag. Let me just turn it back inside, right side out again. All in all, it's a nice looking bag. I don't think I'll keep it. Now you can see here that this is the backing of the pocket, so those stitches are visible there, 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 and obviously there as well. So you can see some sort of formation. Being a suede, I imagine it's going to have rubbing up against the body, and depending on which side you wear it, you might get more wear on one side rather than the other. It is a nice looking bag though. Like it does have a beautiful color to it and a nice drop. So if you're like me, thank you everyone for your kind comments, but when I mention my larger sized arms, I say that because there are many people who have larger arms and not lovely slim arms, and That's the thing I don't have anymore, but anyway, whatever. It does have a nice drop, so it's very accommodating for anyone of any size in that part of their body. It's got a nice look to it. It sits nicely against the body. I wonder, and I'm concerned about whether this will, with use, curl in. It would have been good to see some sort of, maybe a continuation of another layer of this, or some other sort of maybe same coloured backing as a reinforcement. I'm torn. I'll pop my things into it and show you what it looks like with some stuff in it. I'm torn as to whether I should keep it. I'm leaning towards no. I'm going to return it, only because I think it's probably going to show a lot of wear quickly, and being a type of bag that just collapses into nothing, depending on how you store it, it'll just look like a mess. Let me get my things. So I can't get out of this. I just can't get out of it. I haven't even switched it out so that all the bits and bobs are hanging on the correct side. I just haven't done it yet. I have loved using it. I squish it all up against me. Anyway, it's not about this, but I'm going to take out what I'm carrying in here, which is just a whole bunch of stuff. And this is what I would carry on a daily basis, other than my sunglasses, because when I'm using my normal glasses, I don't have my sunglasses with me. But if I wear my contact lenses, then I carry them. So I'm going to put all these things into that bag. So here I have mini pochette, which is filled, sunglass case, and these are my standard 3 things that I carry with me. This is my everyday wallet. I still haven't switched out of it. I really have to, because my kids, well, my son and his girlfriend bought me a beautiful bright yellow one. I have to use it. This is my everyday emprunt clay, which I love to bits. I'm hard pressed to choose which of these two is my favorite. Probably this one. And then my clay, and the only other thing that I would have in the bag would be my phone. So I'm going to pop these all in the bag and see how it looks. Certainly the bag would benefit from using an organizer, no doubt about it. But what we have here is the bag with my things in it, so it sits sort of like closer to my body. I have to admit, the base is still retaining its shape, if you see there. So it's not doing too badly, bearing in mind I'm not carrying a huge amount that would cause it to sag significantly. The items are sort of like gathered in the middle, in the center middle, and it will be, of course, yeah, very hard to show you because, well, it's just a black hole there as far as you could possibly see. It's not going to be it. Not happening. Yeah, that's what it looks like. All my things are in there, but you can't see much. This would benefit from an organizer, but if I'm going to buy a bag, I don't want to have to buy a lot of extra things just to make it more functional, you know. And it's functional as it is, there's no doubt about it. You can just leave it as it is, no problems, good to go. Now I'm thinking about, I have this habit where if I'm at the cash register or something, I just like to be able to put my hand in and like look for something, but I have a feeling that's going to be hard to do because then I'd be pushing against this. So I'd have to take this off, hold it, open up because the magnet's strong, and rummage around. That's going to take time. I am concerned about the suede on the inside sort of rubbing away and coming off and maybe leaving residue on clothing. No, I don't seem to have anything at the moment. Maybe it will only rub off onto certain fabrics, I'm not sure. But as much as it's a nice looking bag, I just don't know if I'll keep it. I think it might not last all that much. But here we have, if anyone's interested, and if you can't get hold of the Coach Brooklyn 39, either in their suede or their leather, this is an option. Let me know what you think of this. Is this a keeper? Is she a returner? What do you think? Now, while I was in store, and I'll have pictures showing here, I did notice a few woven bags, and there was one in particular which was very much a dupe of the Dragon Diffusion hobo bag. Now, as you know, Dragon Diffusion is a brand that's been slowly creeping up and becoming quite noticeable in these last perhaps 5 years. I picked it up as in like I noticed it about 5 years ago. And it's very much that intrecciato woven look, which is reminiscent of Bottega Veneta, we know that. But the Dragon Diffusion bags have a particular distinct silhouette. So they're either the really wide totes or There's that sort of little hobo with the single shoulder strap, all in the woven leather, and it's got a little bit of a slight boat design. Now, they had that at Target, and they had it in a beautiful rich emerald green, probably similar to that green there, but the leather looked beautiful. It looked like a slightly shiny, smooth leather. Truly, it was beautiful. And then they had other sort of crescent style bags. There was one that was very Polène inspired, probably the numero D or the number 10 bag. And then there's others that I'll have here showing that are very much like the Prada one. And forgive me, I can't remember the name right now. And also the Hugo Boss one, where it does not have the flat base. The base is sort of like angled, but a little sort of under the shoulder bag moment. Really nice with the beautiful shiny smooth leather. So they had those. They had also the bucket bag style. Now there's no distinct names of these, but looks very much like the Coach Bleecker bucket bag. And I thought to myself, look, if you're someone who's wanting to, get into the handbag market, who's looking to have something that's current, that's in fashion now, that is sort of recognizable of certain brands, I understand why these companies are doing that type of thing. And like I said, it's been common practice immemorial. It's been going on for a long time. So it's nothing new necessarily, but as much as it is, in a way, a form of copying, it is an option for people who are not able to spend the money to buy some of these bags, because let's face it, they're bloody expensive. And so it gives them an option to be part of this particular, either it's a trend or it's a micro trend or anything along those lines, being part of and feeling like they're up to date and current with fashion styles and fashion looks and fashion trends. So I can understand why they do that. And to some extent, some of these duped versions from affordable, approachable companies like Target give people just that sense of having something special. And I completely understand that. And at a relatively affordable price. The Coach Brooklyn 39 here in Australia retails for many hundreds of dollars, and forgive me, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll have it here. Anyway, and this for $80, in all honesty, is not a bad buy. If you're happy to put up with this eventually curling, if you're happy to put up with the fact that there might be some color transfer, if you're happy to put up with the fact that it's going to be hard to look for things because it's a deep, dark black hole in there, if you're happy to put up with the fact that potentially with use, these little stitches, those 4 little singular stitches that are holding the pocket inside might come away, which means that they might tear the leather, the suede, well then if you're okay with that and you're aware of these risks, then go for it. It's a nice looking bag. I think for me, I'm going to return it only because I know it will drive me crazy. I think I want this look, and I do love large slouchier bags again now, but I think I want this idea perhaps in a firmer, stiffer leather so that it does hold some shape. Right. Look, this is a great option. So if anyone's interested, go to Target Australia. Online, some of them are sold out online. Some of the styles, I found this hanging obviously on the hook in the handbag section alongside some of the other designs and styles. So that's one. So let me know what you think of what Target is doing. Like I said, I don't know if this is common for Target overseas as well. I imagine it would be. A lot of what we have here is very much informed by what is happening overseas in the seasons and the fashion sort of lineup that's happening over there. So I'm very curious to hear what you think of this bag. Would you keep it? Would you buy it? Would you keep it? Would you send it back? What are your thoughts? I look forward to reading your comments. So as always, take care everybody. God bless, and I'll see you next time.